Well, no one asked, but I'm sharing anyway.
Hello, beautiful humans. Thank you for being here. I am Ashley, and I have been a lot of things in my life. I've been a pharmacy technician, a chemist, a public health professional, makeup artist, I'm a hairstylist. I still kind of am a hairstylist. I've been a lot of things in my life in my short 26 years, but I think I've found myself in a very unique and fulfilling position, I'll say, as an entrepreneur in the digital currency space. You may ask, how did I get here? How did I even know what digital currencies were? Who was the first person to tell me what a Bitcoin was? How did I know about this long before a lot of other people? That's very interesting. Thank you for asking. When I think about my life and my story, I definitely think it's something worth sharing. Everyone has a different path to finding something that they enjoy learning about and sharing and educating other people on, and I finally found my things. I was a senior in college the first time I heard the word Bitcoin and heard anything that had anything to do with it. Graduated from Howard University in 2013. I was a chemistry major and I was studying super hard. I was taking like P-Chem at the time, instrumental chemistry, a bunch of really like taxing courses, and my boyfriend at the time and we pretty much would hang out all the time, and I was studying all the time. And when we weren't studying, we were like nerding out over different things because he was someone that was super into finance and money and financial world, right? So CNBC was always on the TV. We were always discussing some global financial event, and would do like a lot of research on his own and learn about a ton of new things going on. And that's when he mentioned the word Bitcoin, told me what Bitcoin was, and I remember that day. My 21-year-old self obviously was just like, oh yeah, that's super interesting. Like me being the nerd that I am, right? Anything science, technology, anything like that related, this is definitely something I am all up and through. So after that moment of, you know, doing a little research and just chatting a little bit about it, our 21-year-old selves, we kind of just let it go. I graduated and moved back to New Jersey. That relationship ended, but I'm thankful because in every relationship, and no matter what type it is, whether it's a friendship or romantic relationship, there's always things that you learn and take from people and lessons that you can apply to your life. So I'm super thankful for this person for teaching me what a Bitcoin was, right? And from that moment on, you know when life shows you something repeatedly and you notice it, but you kind of swerve in it, you're not ready. Your life is like, hey, this is something you're supposed to pay attention to, and I'm just like, you know, you're just not ready for it, so you avoid it. That's kind of like what the next few years were like for me as when it came to cryptos and digital currency. I would hear about it in passing, hear someone mention it, see it online, but I never really took the step to get invested or involved myself. I never really took the steps to learn much more than, you know, knowing that it was digital money. But I was like focused on other things. I moved to Texas, started working in public health. While living in Texas, I was working full time, moved somewhere totally new, didn't really know a lot of people. I had a lot of time on my hands, so I picked up quite a few new interests during that time. One being jujitsu, so jujitsu is the best martial art ever, by the way. Secondly, digital currencies. I to a time and I was like, Ashley, start reading about this, start researching this, start looking into this. You research and look up everything else. There's absolutely no reason why I wouldn't do it for this too. You know, just skimming, getting general knowledge, learning about altcoins, which are, for anyone that does not know, an altcoin is basically any digital currency aside from Bitcoin, right? I'm just learning really general stuff. I didn't really dive into the technology until later. So my cousin, who I founded the BITMEISTER with, my cousin Errol, he lived in Dallas and I was living in Houston, so I would travel back and forth just to hang with him and his family, and we would chat. And one week I brought up, you know, digital currencies. I was like, I want to get into digital currencies, and this was like 2016. And he was like, of course you do. You need to redo your research, you need to learn, you need to this, you need to that, you need to start getting invested if you can. He's like, to put $20 every check if you can, just a little something each time, get a Coinbase account, just real basic stuff. And I was like, okay. Turns out he had been investing in cryptos for a while and he hadn't told anybody or mentioned anything. So in 2016, he started with $2,800 and within 10 months, it grew to over 6 figures. So he's telling me at this point, just like, well, cuz you need to start investing, but without, really sharing all of that information. I just at this point knew that he was the cousin I could talk to about cryptos. I was like, throwing $20 in each check, throwing a little bit of what I could, learning navigating Coinbase's user interface, figuring out exchanges, figuring out all this stuff, how to navigate the space a little bit, my little coins that I had, and I also had a friend in Houston, my friend Justin, who also went to Howard. Shout outs to you. But basically, we would hang out, talk about random stuff, and he's kind of like a hustler type. So he was like, yeah, we started talking about cryptos one day. I was like, you know about cryptos too? And he was like, yeah, I do. So we would meet up and talk about crypto, text about it all the time. We're sharing information back and forth, sharing articles. We ended up deciding that we're going to go to a crypto meetup in Houston, early 2017, and we're like so gung-ho. I'm like thinking, oh, this is going to be great, an educational opportunity. I'm going to learn so much from all these people in the space. It's going to really help me, this, and that. So Justin and I, after work, one day, just casually chill on some chill stuff, went to this Bitcoin meetup, and when I tell you guys, it was just a very interesting experience. Basically, I was the only black woman there. The only other woman was an Asian woman who ended up being the homie. Basically, it was a room full of mostly white men. Some were like those like libertarian types. Some were like dripping with money. You could tell they made a lot of money in cryptos and were like lawyers and like nerdy bankers and all types of stuff. They were just talking and not even really letting anybody in. Any newbies, anyone that, wasn't sharing their knowledge, they weren't really trying to do that. They were just there to speculate and talk about the market and this and that. And that was kind of an overwhelming experience because if you know me, I hate not knowing about something, right? I hate not knowing and not understanding and not being as knowledgeable or well-versed as the people around me about something. So, and it had been a long time since I was in an environment like that, since I was challenged like that. And I'm sitting there listening and trying to figure out what they're, understand what they're talking about. And the Asian woman she was like kind of like leading the conversation. Everyone wanted to hear what she had to say. You could tell she was a vet in that group. She basically came and was like, she came and just started talking to me. She was like, do you know what this is? Do you know what proof of work is? Do you know what smart contracts are? Well, basically this is happening and then this and a fork and da-da-da. I was like, what's a fork? And she had to explain all that to me as briefly as she could. But she basically was like, you have a lot of homework to do, but I hope to see you back next time. But she really just went out on her own, took the initiative and shared the knowledge with me. But that would have never happened had I not put myself in that uncomfortable environment. So a quote that I've really adopted that I love is find comfort in being uncomfortable. After I left that meeting, I went home and I was like, I hit up my cousin. I was like, I'm about to dive into this stuff. I'm about to learn everything that I can. And that's really what I did.
I just dove and watched every video, every blog, every academic assessment, tons of like in-depth videos about cryptography, peer-to-peer networks, blockchain technology in general, and changed all my notifications on my phone so I was getting notified of different things happening in the crypto world.
I just immersed myself in the environment. I made myself learn and figure out the technology. That's kind of how I'm lucky to be able to share my knowledge with people, just because I understand how challenging it can be to figure some of this complex stuff out. I pretty much sat and taught myself as much as I could. I reached out to all the resources that I had, started connecting with friends that were in crypto, and I started to realize, I was like, Ash, this is a space that you're supposed to be in. This is knowledge that you're supposed to share with people. I ended up talking to my cousin again. We chatted about it, and we ended up talking, and this is in September. Remember, my contract with my job was up in October. I was still trying to figure out what I was going to do, where I was going to go. My cousin was like, Ashley, I'm starting a company and in the crypto blockchain space, and it's an educational platform, and I really think that you'd be a great part of helping me build this. If there's something you want to do after you finish, you could come on and help me build this full time. And that's what I did. And so now here we are. We have the BITMEISTER. As you can see, this is the backdrop that we use to film all of our educational material that goes on all of our channels. Yeah, here I am now, just kind of dove into this space and committed myself to learning something that I found interesting, something that people have called me weird for learning about, something people think is imaginary and frivolous, and digital currencies and blockchain technology in general is going to revolutionize how we do so many things, and people just say anything that comes off the top of their heads about the digital currency space without doing any research, without knowing anything about the technology, all of the applications that exist. And people are just like, oh well, people out here just trying to make money and this and that. There's one thing I really want people to do. It's to do the work. It's to educate themselves and learn about what's going on and at least have an understanding, because if you don't get the understanding now, it's just going to happen to you, because the truth is we're tardy to the party as far as digital currencies are concerned. If you look at what's going on the other side of the world, in some developing nations even around digital currencies, it's amazing. Some really, really great revolutionary things are happening, and it's digital currencies empower the individual. There are just so many really great reasons to learn about cryptocurrencies and to learn how to navigate the space. But the most pressing, I would say, is the fact that this is going to be how we buy, sell, and trade, and how we do things as our society moves forward and becomes more technologically advanced. People don't even realize there's so much connected to all the technology that we have around us, as well as blockchain and digital currencies. And there's so much happening. There's so many moving parts. It's a super exciting space to learn about. I feel really fortunate to be one of the first people to share this knowledge with a lot of people. People look at me crazy. Do you know how many times people have looked at me crazy, be like, Bitcoins? That's what your company has to do with? And long story short, no, right? All right. That's just one of over 1,400 different digital currencies that you can learn about and, decide if this is something you want to support. Read the white papers, learn about the projects, learn what they're doing, what they're building. It's just a really, really great opportunity to get involved in a burgeoning field. There's just so much more to come. And for people who are looking for educational resources, for knowledge, for guidance, that's what the BITMEISTER is for. That's what we do. We're an educational platform for people looking to navigate the digital currency space. We basically help people figure this stuff out. We provide streamlined explanations, to the point explanations of different things, different processes for you to get started. And we're in a really, really, really special time right now to be here talking about digital currencies in their infancy. If you're looking for more information on digital currencies, feel free to reach out to me. I hope to be a great resource for people. I thank you so much for taking the time to hear about my story. I hope it's empowered you. I hope it's given you, the little nudge that you needed to go forward and potentially make some moves and harness your financial future. And to be a futurist, the future is now, pretty much. This technology, the future is now. Please subscribe to my channel. This is just one of several videos I hope to do about my life, my journey as an entrepreneur in this space. Maybe, dip a toe in there and do a Google search and read a few articles, watch a few videos. Don't assume you know what's going on. I'm Ashley. Once again, I go as WhoAskedAshley across all platforms, WhoAskedAshley.com. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Please check out the BITMEISTER. You can find us on all of those platforms as well. Thanks.